Afternoon, everybody. I'm in my garage. I'm charging up a battery on a project I'm doing, and taking a minute. I see a lot of negative comments about the two videos I have about the cold steel Leatherneck versus the Kabar. So I'm going to address that really quick. For one, I'm going to update it a little bit. I don't have the Kabar anymore. I gave that to a buddy. And the Leatherneck I have is the very first generation. It was a higher carbon steel with a full flat grind. They've changed it up a bunch since. For the record, I believe currently the blade, the edge geometry with a hollow grind and a thicker spine and a thicker tang along with the thicker guard, with the blade steel they're using now, which is a carpenter steel. Oh man. It's design-wise, it's superior. So assuming that there's no manufacturing problems with the one that you get, which could happen with both companies, I think the design is superior to the Kabar. Now, there's some Marine friends of mine that might be like, "What the fuck?" But you know, I still love the Kabar. So, anyways, a lot of people said there's a few things that I said that, well, for one, this was 10 years ago, and then for two, there really isn't really a term for what I was trying to talk about. So I was trying to coin one by using it. So when you talk about knife tangs, a full tang is a tang that goes all the way through the handle. Hold on, let me find a knife. This is what I think of when I think of a full tang. It goes the width of the handle and to the end of the length. This is just a butt plate put here to contain the leather, but should I put scales on here, I could just round it off. That's a full tang. That's what I think of as a full tang. But if you have a narrow tang that goes all the way to the end, that's still considered a full tang. But I think that there's a decided difference in the strength because the width of the tang isn't there. Another thing is cold steel at the time, with a lot of their overmolded handles, we're still calling them full tang. And the reason why is because the overmold, the tang was going till just barely on all angles of the handle, and the overmold was barely enough to cover it so it didn't look like it, but effectively it would have the same strength because it goes all the way to the curve and everything. So that isn't full tang, but they were calling it full tang. So what I assumed, because these leather stacked handles that were on the Kabar are on Kabars usually, and sometimes their rubber handles are just slipped over. Now they're injection molded, but a lot of those knives, when you take them apart, you can slip them right off. So I was calling it a slip tang because it's not quite a hidden tang, and I was thinking that a slip, because you can slip the handle over it. I got a lot of flack for that. I don't know. I guess people just don't have enough time, or have too much time on their hands. So I'm sorry about that. I didn't know the correct term because there really isn't a correct term. I guess now what I would call it is an overmolded handle, and that the Kabar tang is very small. So I digress that what I was saying about the knives is still correct. So the Kabar tang is very small when you look at the butt plate, and the cold steel Leatherneck tang is very wide. And that's a huge strength difference there. So I believe that I'm still correct, but I'm sorry I didn't use the terms because there really isn't any. But now I would probably say it's an overmolded handle with a full tang, and that the tang in the cold steel Leatherneck is wider than the tang in the Kabar. Another thing that they didn't appreciate, which I honestly don't appreciate myself. I'm sorry, it's been 10 years. I'm not really going to apologize for what I said, but what I said was, hey, if you don't know about the Kabar and you're a knife person, you're an idiot. It's something along that lines. I was trying to be animated. I was trying to express that if you're a knife person, you really should know about the Kabar. It's like one of the first ones. I mean, in military knife history, you're going to see it's the main one for the Marines and the Army for a very long time, and even the Navy used it for a long time. My grandpa talked about that. So, you're going to see a Wakizashi, you're going to see Tontos, you're going to see Bowie knives, and then in America's military, you're going to see Kabar. You're going to see that right next to kukri. You know, you're going to see that right next to you know, many other edged weapons that were like the sidearm weapon, as opposed, you know, wakizashi or a tanto, as opposed to the full katana, right? So I don't talk like that anymore. It's an elitist mentality that I don't respect, but I'm not going to apologize for it, because I was 10 years younger, and you know, I feel like I should own that I said that, instead of being like, oh, I'm sorry. A lot of people say I'm sorry about things that they're not sorry about. I think that that's not right. Sorry doesn't fix anything. Sorry doesn't stop anything. Only thing I am going to say is that I don't talk like that anymore. I sometimes can be insulting, because sometimes people deserve insulting. you know, but I try to keep that out of my videos and stuff now. I have matured a little bit since then. That was 10 years ago. So there's a lot of people out there that are, you've missed the point though. I mean, you're so worried about the fact that I said idiot. It's like, well, if you're a knife person, and if you're just starting into knives, I get it. You should go investigate the Kabar. It's got a colorful history. You should investigate the Bowie. You should investigate kukri. You should investigate Kephardts. There's a lot to look into, you know, if you're interested in knives. But if you're stumbling upon my channel, you should have already known about the Kabar. Now, I'm not going to say you're an idiot. Now, I did then. And I'm going to own what I said then, but I'm not. I think you're still missing the point. The point was that the blade geometry the point was, in regards to that, was you should know about it. It's like the main knife in America's military. If you're a knife person, you should know about the Kabar. And if you don't, go look it up. That's what I'm going to say now. That's what I should have said then. But I still would like to see people not be insulted by that, so I'm not going to apologize for it. On the subject of the blade geometries, at the time with a full flat grind and the Kabar having like a saber grind, guess what? The full flat grind goes through soft tissue better. It was a fighting knife. I got to talk to these guys right after they designed it, before they released it, and that's what the idea was. It was meant to be a fighting knife, but people wanted more of a workhorse like the Kabar. So I thought that it was a great having that, even though I don't like the full flat grind on larger knives, in mass production knives. So, but I thought that the trade-off was good, because there are people who are like, the Kabar is the best knife in the world, and it's got a history. It's a ceremonial knife at this point. So it is important to not, you know, it is important to respect that of the Kabar. It's a venerable knife, and I thought that having a trade-off between the two, because it's supposed to be an homage to that kind of a knife, a trade-off in the performance of them was a really good idea. I thought that cold steel was right there. But then they changed the blade style to a style I find superior, but they changed the blade steel to a very ridiculous steel. I don't know why they did that, but since then it's gone through 2 more blade steel changes. I don't know where it's at now. Look that up yourself. But as of right now, it's a higher carbon, much higher performance steel than even what Kabar is using, and it's got a better blade geometry, I believe, and with improvements that are completely undeniable, like a wider tang and a thicker guard. Those are undeniable. The Kabar could do those 2 things right now and improve their knife. You know, so all the things that everyone had a problem with in my previous videos, I was not trying to insult anybody, and for that, I'm sorry. But I think you missed the point. Was I wrong about anything? If you get past the semantics, was I actually wrong? That's my question to you, everybody. Have a good one. Please be safe with the knives. If you like them, get into it. If you don't, I don't know what you're watching my videos for.